Still trying to figure out why this soda tastes funny, but I think we're just gonna abandon that and stick to my tea. So the mystery continues. Hey guys, welcome back to yet again another one. And for anyone who watched my last challenge video, which was my readathon spins, yes, I am stopping that video in the same spot, picking right up into this week's challenge because we are what? We are efficient and professional. So new angle. I did just finish wrapping up our readathon spin video, but I have an insanely busy afternoon. I don't know that I can guarantee that I'm going to get back in front of the camera, so I want to go ahead and just know what we're reading. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. If you watched my last challenge, which was my readathon spins, that prompted me to read a bunch of books that were not on my March TBR, which is great. I'm still knocking books off of my lists, but I'm not prioritizing my TBR, which I don't love because I do like, when you guys watch me picking my books on my TBRs, I do like giving you my thoughts on at least half of them. And that's kind of the goal. So I still have only read 3 books off of my TBR for this month, which is kind of not acceptable. And it's the middle of the month already, and there's a ton of great books that I want to get to on this list. So I think we're going to do a super casual mood read my March TBR with me this week and just kind of let me like mood read my way, knock some books off of my TBR and take you guys along with me so that the books that I pick in my spin wheel videos, you guys actually get to see my opinion on. Go figure. Who would want that? So without further ado, here is my March TBR. The ones that have check marks are the ones that I've already read. Down at the bottom, Rebel Witch is actually a buddy read I'm doing with Amanda from Amanda's Booktopia. I do have to get on that, but the rest of them, Credence, Zodiac Academy, One of Us is Next, Spark of the Everflame, Josephine's Tear, Catching Feelings, 5 Survives, The God of Ending, God of Malice, and Unravel the Dusk are all on my general March TBR. So I think I'm just going to allow myself to knock at least like 3 of these off, just mood reading. And I think right now what's calling to me is Credence, Zodiac Academy, I guess Spark of the Everflame, and God of Malice. I'm nervous about the slow burn slumping me out in Spark of the Everflame because I'm kind of on like a very fast-paced reading mood right now. And I did just finish 2 pretty dark gothic. I just finished Blood Orange and Butcher and Blackbird. I could also jump right into Black Sunshine. That's not on my TBR. Focus, Lindsay. Focus. So I did just kind of finish 2 dark books, but they're kind of calling to me right now. I think I'm going to knock off Spark of the Everflame. I think I'm between Credence, Zodiac Academy, and God of Malice. All are semi-darker. Zodiac Academy, the first one's a little bit more YA. I know it does get spicier as the series continues, but which of these do I want to read? Okay, I think I'm in the mood for Credence. I'm going to pick up Credence and see how it gels with me. We do have 2 hours of baseball practice today, and I do think all of the kids want to go to the trampoline park. So reading Credence in public is always a little interesting, but I am reading on my Kindle, so it shouldn't be something that people notice. So we'll see how it goes. It is officially the next morning. I have not even taken one single sip out of my tea that I made literally an hour ago because I've been so just crazy. I was feeling very scatterbrained this morning, so I jumped in the shower, did a quick refresh, and I'm feeling a lot more able, like physically capable to settle down and handle my business. If you see this is some stuff, my brother-in-law stuff that we have to get put away in a drawer. We're working on that. A little chaotic around here, but I did sit down in the last 24 hours. So in 24 hours, I read Credence by Penelope Douglas. This book was 560 pages on my Kindle, and I ate this up in one day. Now, do I think it was a literary masterpiece? I don't. It obviously wasn't, but it was entertaining and it was spicy and it held your attention. You know what I'm saying? Like I could sit down, not really think too much, have stuff going on in the background, have my kids and my niece and my nephew watching cartoons and drone it out and kind of focus in. I didn't really have to think too much. If you don't know what this book is about, this follows our main female character, Tiernan, who was raised very wealthy by parents that were in the spotlight. They die at the beginning of the book, and Tiernan is 17. She is sent to live with her step uncle. That step part, very important. Very key part to understanding this slightly taboo book is that little 4-letter phrase, step uncle, and her step cousins, Jake, Noah, and Caleb. Jake is her uncle. Noah and Caleb are her cousins, quote unquote. Step. We're going to keep harping on the step part, okay? And they live in this cabin up a mountain that is so secluded. In the summer and the spring, and when the weather is nice, they can kind of make their way down the market into town and use traditional supplies. However, once the winter hits, once it starts snowing and getting cold, they are secluded up onto this mountain. And essentially, when the stars align, it becomes winter, the seclusion hits, and she turns 18, it's game on for all four of them. I can't think of a better way to describe this book. It is erotica, it is taboo, it is dark because, you know, there's some questionable behavior in this book all around, questionable treatment sometimes in this book. However, if you like a ton of spice, this has it. If you like a relative plot and pretty entertaining banter, this has it. I will say this. There was absolutely no reason for this to be almost 600 pages. So much of this could have been cut out and it would have been the exact same book. I'm going to use this example. There was one part where they made their way down the mountain and they went to a convenience store to like stock up on some supplies. And this convenience store scene was like 20 pages of them just in there buying stuff. And I was like, what, why? And we didn't need it. It never came back up. And there were a lot of like 20-page spurts in this book that could have been cut out. And if you add a couple of 20-page spurts that could have been cut out, you're at 100 pages less. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was a little long. I think there were parts that were a little unnecessary. I think it got a little wordy. Sometimes I even felt as though some of that extra information got a little bit more detailed and the book kind of lost the plot on what it was, right? Like nobody is reading this book to get a detailed, you know, description of landscape. We just want to see them together, you know? Like nobody's reading erotica being like, oh no, I can't picture the mountain. Like nobody's reading it for that. If you're reading this book, you're reading it for other content. And it was great. It was good. I will read another Penelope Douglas book, but for that reason, I gave it a 4-star. And truly, for most of the book, I was like hovering between like a 3.75 and a 4. I ended up going 4 because the epilogue I really enjoyed. I think had that extended epilogue not been there at the end, it probably would have been a 3.75. So like 95% of the book was a 3.75 star book, but the epilogue bumped it up like a 1/4 star for me. So I'm going to settle pretty confidently on 4 stars, and I will read more Penelope Douglas. So full disclosure, my goal was to finish this yesterday, but I got to 10 pages left in the book and was literally like nodding off in my chair, so tired. And I said, you know what, I'll just wake up and finish that 10 pages in like the 5-minute sort of time this morning, which is what I did. So technically I finished 99% of the book in 24 hours. Then I read the last 10 pages this morning. And then I was sitting there because I had another 40 minutes before I had to wake my kids up. And I was like, what am I going to start today? And I'm taking a look at our TBR list, and the one that's sticking out to me is Rebel Witch, because I'm actually doing this as a buddy read with Amanda from Amanda's Booktopia, and she already finished this book and I haven't even started it. So I do need to prioritize this and make sure that I don't leave Amanda like out in the lurch. So I'm going to I did pick up Rebel Witch today. I'm actually on chapter 9, I believe right now, which is very short chapters. I think there's 85 chapters in this book. So it's very short chapters. So I am on chapter 9 and I'm going to make my way in Rebel Witch today. I only currently have this book on audio, so I will be listening to it in my ears. There may not be a ton of B-roll, but today is a stay at home, drink my tea, edit a video, and read day. There won't be a ton of action going on, but I'll pop in a little bit to give you an update. It is the next day and we have so much to talk about. I'm so excited. Can you tell I'm excited? I feel so amped. This is like our new preferred filming location as well, because like I said, my brother-in-law is staying with us for a little while and all his stuff is kind of like in my office right now while we move some stuff around. But this is going to be kind of like our setup spot for a little while. But I have so much stuff to talk to you about, and it's so much stuff that I'm so excited about. Like, I just got off the treadmill, I just got back from lunch, and I was going to jump in the shower, but I can't wait to talk to you guys about this. So you're gonna get kind of like scrubby Lindsay while she talks to you because I have to get it out. So I have a fabulous subscriber. I'm not gonna use her by name, but I have a fabulous subscriber. She is so sweet. She's always in the comments down below. And she messaged me and told me that I should be expecting a message from her partner named Jack. And he did. He messaged me and he said that he was a graduate student in Scotland and that he had either for school or for something like that, he had done a project where he animated an intro for me. What? Of all the things in the world that Jack could have done, he is graduating or has graduated. I don't know how the Scottish school year works. He has started his own animation and marketing company called Zodiac Academy Media. I'm going to put his name right here, but I'm also going to tag him down below so that if you guys want to contact him, you can. And he did a new animation for me for the beginning of my videos. And it is like, first of all, the fact that anyone would even think about me like that, like when he had to do a project like that and the first thing he thought was, I'm gonna do this for Lindsay. He said that his girlfriend watches and loves the videos and that he constantly has them on in the background, and he has actually started watching my videos as well. And the fact that he thought about me to do something like that.
Keep going.
Come here, come show the camera.
No, I'm just trying to
No, come show, go ahead. Come show the camera. This is what I see behind my camera as I'm trying to talk.
I was trying to throw her off. I was like this.
So what you don't see behind here is him standing behind my camera going like this. There you go. There it is. This is trying to record and be a boy mom at the oh, that's even nicer. Why don't you come show them that? That was a great one. That one's not fit for TV.
That was not PG.
That one's, yeah, PG-13 move.
We ruined another video. Yeah.
So Jack messaged me and we messaged back and forth a little bit, kind of ideas and tweaks and stuff like that. And it was so amazing working with him. He is so kind and so sweet and he is so responsive. He's just like quick. Like anything I would say within like an hour or two, he would have emailed me back. He is so sweet and I absolutely adore what he made for me. So without further ado, I'm going to play the animation that Jack from Zodiac Academy Media created for me, and moving forward, this is going to be at the beginning of all my videos because literally it just makes my heart so happy to be thought of, and that somebody thought of me and took their time and their hard-earned effort to be so thoughtful and so sweet as to make something like that for this channel. And it will make my heart soar every single time I'm editing or doing a project on our channel and have the honor of putting this animation before our videos. And I don't want to get super sappy, but I am just so incredibly honored to be thought of. And I'm so grateful that Jack and his girlfriend reached out. I'm so happy. So I am going to stop yapping before I get emotional and play the media now, and you will see it in the beginning of all videos after this. But this is like the world reveal of what Jack made for this channel. So take it away. I love it so much. Do you see the detail? Like, go back and watch it again or just wait till the next video and it'll be there. But he put Harry Potter and Yankees and Disney up in my picture frames. I cannot even believe that someone so sweet and so adorable and so talented took their effort and their time, and this takes so much time and effort to make something like that for me. Like, they say the best gifts are handmade, right? And that is a perfect example. So Jack, your girlfriend, I don't know if she wants me to say her name, but Jack, your girlfriend, thank you so much for thinking of me. I honestly cannot express to you how much this will make my heart soar and my smile go from ear to ear every single time I get the privilege of putting your animation at one of the front of my videos. The fact that a subscriber made this for me is the honor of a lifetime, and I'm so grateful that you guys reached out. Thank you so much. And if any of you guys need any sort of animation work, any sort of intros for your videos, I cannot tell you the pleasure it was to work with him. He is incredible and so sweet and so responsive and just such a genuinely nice person. So like I said, I'm going to put his name here again. And I'm going to link him down below. He's always going to be credited. Also, I made sure I told him to put a watermark in the corner of the animation so that if there's ever a question about where this animation came from, he receives the credit he deserves. So please, if you are looking for a new intro for your videos, if you do BookTube, or if you're looking for an animation for a project you're doing, please reach out to Jack. He's awesome. He's incredible. And he made the most adorable, sweetest video for me and the animation for me that just really does encompass all the things I love on this channel. And I don't think I have to say again how grateful I am. Thank you so much. So reach out to Jack for any of your animation needs. And with that also being said, I'm going to segue into, I get so many videos from people literally on a weekly basis saying like, oh, you know, I would really love to start a BookTube channel. I don't know if people would care about my opinions, or like, I really want to start a channel about something I'm passionate about, but it's intimidating. And I really like, what's your best advice? And my best advice for you, if you're one of those people, is exactly what I will message you back if you ask. It's just do it. And I got to be honest with you, specifically in the BookTube space for like YouTube and the book world, everyone is so kind and so welcoming and so, I haven't had a negative experience yet. I mean, I'm not saying that'll never happen. There's always a bad apple, right? There's a bad egg in every crowd. However, my experience with particularly Bookstagram, BookTube, like the entire book community, is it's just literally a conglomeration of the most kind, selfless people, Jack and his girlfriend being one of them or two of them. So if you're thinking about doing it, I'm going to say just jump in. Just jump in feet first and do it, because specifically in the book community, there is no group of people that just want to read books and chat. Like, they're so welcoming of other people's opinions for the most part, and we just want to chill. We're just chill guys, you know? It is the greatest decision I've ever made. I've met all of you and everyone's been so sweet. Something happens literally on a monthly basis that takes my breath away. And Jack animating this for me was just the event of the month that really did just take my breath away. And it was so unexpected and such a pleasure. I'm so excited. I'm honored to use it. So yeah, that's my sappy moment. Let's get back to talking about books. But first, tea. Like 4 hours later, it's finally not molten lava temperature, so I can drink it. So on to my book update. I did spend yesterday and start and finish Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is book 2 after Heartless Hunter in the Crimson Moth series. I gave Heartless Hunter, which was book 1, a 4.5 star and absolutely loved it. I'm giving this one a 3.5 star. I knocked it down a star. I didn't like it quite as much as I liked Heartless Hunter. I'm not going to talk much about this one because obviously it's the second in a duology, but if you haven't read Heartless Hunter, the very quick synopsis is it's about our main female character, Rune, who is a witch, a hidden undercover witch, and our main male character, Gideon, who is a witch hunter. However, there's an extra little part to Rune that people don't know that she keeps secret. She doesn't want people to know that she's a witch, but she also doesn't want people to know that she is a vigilante fighting for witches' rights. And her vigilante alias is the Crimson Moth, and it is Gideon's task as the witch hunter to track down and kill the Crimson Moth. It is so well done. It is so well written. I loved Heartless Hunter, and I think maybe Rebel Witch specifically might have struggled a little bit due to how much I loved Heartless Hunter, because I think I went into it so overhyped and so excited because Heartless Hunter was such a good installment that this kind of let me down just a little bit. I thought it was way longer than it needed to be. I felt it was a little repetitive. The storyline and the plot line lulled in some places. And I also think this is going to be a hot take because I have not seen many people say that, but I thought the tension, the romantic tension between Rune and Gideon was better in book 1 than it was in this. This had a lot of like lust and pining, but it was just, to me, more genuine. It felt more real in Heartless Hunter. I read this as a buddy read with Amanda from Amanda's Booktopia. I haven't chatted with her about my exact thoughts yet because I literally finished it like 1 o'clock this morning and I haven't chatted with her yet today before I film. But yeah, 3.5 stars. It was still above average and I liked it. I just thought that Heartless Hunter had a lot more focus in the plot. It didn't lull in as many parts as Rebel Witch did. And I do love that it's a duology. So it did wrap up in the end and I liked the ending. Honestly, for most of this book, it was sitting probably at like a 3-star, 3.25 star maybe, but I loved the way that it wrapped up, so I bumped it up to a 3.5. Okay, so now let's take a look at the way that my March TBR looks like. So I did already check off Rebel Witch. That's done. What do we have left that's kind of speaking to me? Zodiac Academy is still speaking to me. Spark of the Everflame is still speaking to me. Honestly, Catching Feelings is a smutty baseball romance. I could probably do that. And I could probably still do God of Malice. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna remove Spark of the Everflame. I don't want a slow burn right now. I need, like, after the lulls in Rebel Witch, I kind of need something action-packed. I think I want a little baseball romance. I think I'm gonna jump into Catching Feelings by Maren Moore. So I'm gonna go ahead. I don't think I have the audio of this one. I think it's only on KU. I don't know. I think that a little baseball romance will shake up my reading right now. That's what I'm gonna do. In our new favorite spot the next day. I am taking the opportunity while my 2 boys and their best friend are out like playing and riding the scooter because it's a relatively nice day here in Connecticut. I think it's like high 50s, which is nice for us right now, to give you guys a little bit of an update. I started Catching Feelings by Maren Moore yesterday morning and I just finished it. It's around like 4 o'clock the next day. So I finished it in like a day and a half ish. I'm giving this 4 stars. I'm liking it and I like Maren Moore's writing style. So this is the second book in the Orleans University series. The first one was Home Run Proposal and that one was like it wasn't so much like fake dating as it was like teach me about dating. She was like a very virginal, like very inexperienced girl and she didn't want to go out there and sound stupid when she wanted to date someone, so she asked the male character to help her learn to date and like learn about physical experiences. This one was slightly different. This was the main female character from Home Run Proposal's best friend is the main female character in Catching Feelings, and then another member of the Orleans University baseball team. These are all so far baseball romances. And this one wasn't the same plot line or like tropes. This was more like she is down on her luck and needs a place to crash and he's the billionaire who happens to have an extra room. He is the catcher for the Orleans University series and it is kind of like, I don't say enemies to lovers because there's nothing truly as high stakes as true enemies to lovers except for fantasy books. This was like dislike to lovers, right? Like they irritated each other, they annoyed each other. She had unpopular or like negative misconceptions about him, and he, I think, kind of always was very lusty and physically attracted to her but didn't really know too much about her character to really say that it was like love right from first sight. But one thing that Maren Moore does really well is A, the spice. However, I'm going to talk about that more in a second. But B, it's very realistic, and she doesn't dumb down her female characters. So she's quirky and nerdy, but not in a super cringy way that you just don't like the character or find yourself like embarrassed for the character, a la like Megan Quinn or Tessa Bailey's main female characters. She writes very realistic characters, and she's able to pull in these quirky attributes to their personality without making them like cartoon caricatures of themselves. They feel like real people. You feel like you could actually be friends with them. Like, I would love to go to an Orleans University baseball game. You know what I'm saying? I would love to know Hallie and all the girls and things like that. What?
Look at it.
What are you freaking out about? What? No way!
Who's that Teddy?
My kids just distracted me because the ice cream man came down the street, and that was like DEFCON 1. So I have no idea what I was saying. But basically the gist of it is that I like her writing style and I like her characters. They're very realistic. You find yourself really kind of getting immersed into her world and her story. However, back to the spice. It's good quality, except I am finding this criticism in a lot of books recently. If you are writing 2 to 4 spicy scenes, they are original, they're interesting, you might even be able to scoot some repetition in on like the 4th one, and it's fine. But if you are writing a book that has 15 spicy scenes and you're just reusing all of the same things, like maybe consider cutting some out because it gets very repetitive. This was like a 400-page book, and you could have easily cut out a couple of scenes and cut like 40 pages out of the book and just made it a standard 360-page romance. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's exact numbers. I'm just using an example, and this is from someone who loves spice. I read books for spice for the most part, and I found recently that these authors seem to try to squeeze a different scene into every different chapter, but by time 4 or 5, they kind of run out of new material to write into it. So then for the rest of the 300 pages of the book, it just becomes kind of repetitive, like the same thing. And in this particular book, it was literally like the same 2 phrases, word for word, written into almost every subsequent scene. So if you told me that you were 45% of the way through the book and there was a spicy scene, I could tell you 2 sentences that I guarantee you are in that scene. And it did get to be a little bit like irritating, a little repetitive. I just feel like these are fillers. Like, they're fillers to make a book longer than it needs to be. But overall, 4 stars, super good. If you're looking for like a spicy sports baseball romance, check out Maren Moore because I really like her stuff. So after I finished Catching Feelings, I had some like chores to do around the house, and I needed just a little like audiobook to put in my ears while I did the laundry, cleaned up. I had to clean out our downstairs. We have 2 kitchens in our house. Our downstairs kitchen's fridge for my brother-in-law. I had to unload the dishwasher. So I just needed something to like play in my ears. And I grabbed 2 Can Play by Ali Hazelwood. This is a short little novella that I believe was only released on audio. I'm going to listen to it on audio, so I didn't look too deep into it. But from what I understand, this is only available on audiobook, and I think it's like 2.5, 3 hours to finish, and I currently have 1 hour and 31 minutes left to it. So I have a couple of more things to do around the house. I'm going to pop this back in my ears. I'm going to finish it, and I'll come back in about, 1 hour and 30 minutes, and we'll decide where we're going next on our TBR. Another day, another soggy dog hairstyle and bad car angle, because despite the fact that it is raining, my crazy soccer obsessed son still needs to get his kicks in. So we are at the soccer field. You cannot make this up. And I had no time to do anything today, but I did go and get my nails done. And while I was sitting there, I wanted to restart the next book that we wanted to start. So I took a look, hopefully I have enough space here to put it, but I took a look at our TBR, and after I checked off our last book, I had a couple of options. I was still sitting strong with Zodiac Academy, still contemplating Spark of the Everflame, but still don't think I have a slow burn in me right now. God of Malice was still looking good. And surprisingly, I got the audiobook for 5 Survive, so that one was looking good too. However, I wanted to actually physically read something while I was sitting and getting my nails done, so I brought my Kindle and I did pick up Zodiac Academy. So I have officially restarted the first book of Zodiac Academy, and I am like 100 pages in, and I think I'm liking it more than my initial read, because I've told this story a gazillion times, so I'll give you like the Reader's Digest version. I originally read the first Zodiac Academy book while we were on vacation at Universal Studios in Florida. We were staying at the Hard Rock because obviously when you're in the parks, it's not conducive to reading, clearly. But we were at the pool at the Hard Rock, and I picked this up and read it in one sitting. I did get immersed into it, but because I'm a mom and because I constantly am neurotic about my children's safety, I was distracted. I was watching them swim. I was ordering chicken nuggets. I was talking to my husband. They were running off to do the water slide, and I was keeping my eyes locked onto them. So I was physically reading, but was I absorbing? No. No absorption occurring. So I don't remember. I think I remember maybe like 5% of what happens in this total book. So I'm reading this and it's like experiencing it for the first time, but I'm really liking it. So what I've gathered so far, the first 100 pages, is that we have two female main characters, Tori and Darcy, and they had it pretty tough. They were growing up in the foster system, and as soon as they turned 18 and they aged out, they were kind of like kicked out on their own and were struggling. Well, long story short, they find out that they actually were twins that had been switched in birth, and they're actually Fae. And not only that, but their Fae parents were the king and queen of the Fae land called Solaria, and Darcy and Tori, are basically expected to like take up the throne. However, in their absence in the last 18 years since they went missing, the kingdom of Solaria has been ruled by the other four heirs' sons in tandem while they waited to see if the girls were going to come back to assume the throne. So you can imagine that these four heirs' sons are not exactly happy that Darcy and Tori have returned, because they're going to lose a lot of power if they assume the throne. So basically, it's a bully romance from what I've heard. I don't remember literally any of the bullying that happens in this book. That's the main plot of the book. I do not remember. But I have gotten to the point where Darcy and Tori are now at Zodiac Academy. One of the terms of them inheriting the throne or taking on the throne is that they graduate Zodiac Academy. So I'm liking it. The map for this book is so cool. I'm reading it on my Color Soft, and the map is obviously in color on this, and I had never seen it in color before because it's black and white in my actual paperback, so I'm loving it. I'm going to sit here and read for a little while my crazy insane son gets soaking wet, and I'll come back with any more thoughts.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air, and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within.
I just got home from doing the school pickup for the boys, and it's not even like a very warm day here in Connecticut today. I feel like it's like maybe 50, but the sun is out. So there's a huge difference between 50 and the wind whipping overcast weather and 50 but the sun is shining. 50 and the sun is shining is like it's spring, guys. The winter is gone. We could be happy again. And when I tell you that my kids will be outside until it gets too dark and they are forced to come inside, it's literally such a source of serotonin for me. I love it so much. I love our neighborhood. We live in a fantastic neighborhood and there's so many kids and they're all such good friends. So today when I turned off the main road, like onto our road, there was already like 5 neighborhood kids waiting for our car to come down the road, and they followed my car down the road on their scooters and their bikes and they have these little like glider things, and they followed us into the driveway, and now I have like 15 kids playing soccer on our soccer field in our backyard, which is my favorite thing. It makes me so happy to see, because I'm a mom that believes that most children do not play outside enough anymore, and I'm blessed that my kids prioritize playing outside and playing with their friends and playing sports over like literally anything else. My kids would choose playing outside and playing a sport over a video game, over dessert, over everything. Like, ball is life in this house, and like go outside, get fresh air, run around, stay in shape is the way we do things around here. And watching them play with like 15 kids, my happy place. So the other side to that is I'm going to take the opportunity of like 5 to 10 minutes of quiet before one of the 15 kids inevitably needs a drink or wants me to watch them shoot a goal or something like that, to tell you guys and update you guys about my reading and my Zodiac Academy journey. So I am currently on page 255, which is chapter 13 of the traditionally published edition. And I've got to say, this is just the Barnes & Noble traditionally published one that recently was reprinted and re-released. And every chapter page has like a black, let me see if I can see this, a black page with like artwork. And it's really beautiful. I have to admit, I haven't been reading it. I think I've read like 90% of my reading on my Kindle, but I grabbed it this morning to update my bookmark. Visual learners, I got you. I grabbed it this morning just to update my bookmark and said, you know what? I'm really not taking advantage of how beautiful this edition is. And it's also like fabulously floppy. It is not Brandon Sanderson floppy, but it's pretty close. So I did sit down and read like the last chapter physically. This is exactly why I'm doing a reread about this book, because I have confirmed I have not retained any information from this book. This is honestly, it's technically a reread, but it's as though I'm reading this for the first time, because I retained nothing as I suspected. I'm reading things and I'm like, nope, absolutely no knowledge, no recollection of any of this happening. This is so much more in depth and in detail than I remember it, and I am eating it up. I love it so much. This book has everything: magical academia, werewolves, vampires, sirens, nymphs, magical powers, school classes, bullies, like shape-shifting. It has everything, and it is so good, and it is so easy to read. Honestly, I've seen people criticize this book and say like, oh no, you know, the characters are mean. Honey bun, it's a bully romance. If you don't want to read a bully romance, if you don't want a character that is a bully, don't get into this. Don't read a bully romance if you don't want to read about a little bullying. You know what I'm saying? Pick your books different. This is so fun, but it is a bully romance. So if you don't like a little bit of bullying, a little bit of, you know, antagonizing behavior, we'll go with that. Don't read this book, but it is so good. And I just can feel it deep in my bones that the rest of this year is going to be a Zodiac Academy year. Like, I can tell that I'm going to get hooked, because every single second I'm not reading this, I want to be reading it, and it's driving me up a tree that I don't have more time to just sit and binge this. So as it stands right now, I have like a 40-minute period of time before I need to get my grubby kids in from outside, ungrubby them slightly, because listen, we do not control, we merely contain, you know what I'm saying? The grubbiness. So ungrubbify them a little bit, and then my son has his violin concert, and then we are doing lasagna night, homemade lasagna night over at my dad's house for dinner tonight, and I think playing like Yahtzee. And when I'm with my family, I prioritize my family, and I'm so excited to go and hang out with them. So I probably won't be reading too much. I might be able to sit on the couch a little bit between like dinner and Yahtzee, because it is Yankees opening day today, and like I said, ball is life, Yankees are life. So it is Yankees opening day. I have a weird feeling I'm going to be like catching up on the Yankee game at some point tonight. So I might be able to pick up the book and read a little, but if not, I'll just be hanging with the family. And when I get home later on tonight, I think I might want to set like a bare minimum of a 2-hour timer and just binge for 2 hours, because I have not been doing a great job of prioritizing me and like my self-care. We are busy year round, but spring and summer are our super busy seasons because soccer and baseball start, and I don't have much time for self-care for myself. I prioritize my kids' schedule, and I haven't been doing a great job setting aside some time to do what I love, which is reading. And I want to make sure that I do that, because when I don't do that and when I don't focus on me for at least an hour or two a day, I get burned out. And I've been feeling the mom guilt about that recently, and I have to stop that. Like, I have to change that mindset, because if you're a busy mom out there, I've said this in a few other videos, but I feel like we need the reminder sometimes. You are not just mom. You are not just wife. You are not just friend. You are not just daughter. You are not just sister. You are an individual, and as much priority as you should put in with all those other stations in your life, like, give yourself a little grace to just be you. Because if you don't, you can't pour from an empty cup and you'll burn yourself out. So my recharge time, my reset time is when I get to sit down, put my noise canceling headphones on, play my ambiance, and read my book. And I have not been doing a good job giving myself that and setting aside time for that at night. And tonight I'm going to make sure that I do. So I'm going to have family time, reading time, and maybe finishing this book time, but I do have like 200 pages left, so I don't know if I can guarantee that's tonight, but definitely by tomorrow. So let's see how much I can get done. This morning is a rough one, guys. I just got back from doing the school run, and fighting my way out of bed this morning for some reason was so difficult. My husband hasn't been feeling well, and I don't know why, but like when my husband or either of my kids are sick or don't feel their best, I have trouble sleeping because I constantly want to like check on them and make sure they're okay. So I feel like my sleep sounds so horrible. My husband's sick and my sleep was affected. No, I'm not even coming across that way, I hope. But I'm saying like my sleep when people I love are sick is affected because I worry about them. And I want to make sure that like his water is full and he doesn't need like an Excedrin, or he doesn't need, I don't know. I keep waking up in the middle of the night and my brain tells me that he or they need something. So I didn't sleep very well the last 2 nights. He's feeling a lot better, I think, so. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We are through that. He had a really bad migraine yesterday, so I didn't sleep very well the last 2 nights. So long story short, partially because of that, I did just kind of like lay low at the house after everything last night. We did my son's concert. We went over to my dad's for dinner and then came home, and I just laid low in the house, which means that I finished Zodiac Academy. I read over 200 pages of this yesterday, and I looked up my old rating on Goodreads from, was it like 2 years ago when I read this originally and remembered nothing, and I gave it a 4-star. So I obviously liked it. I just didn't absorb it. And this time I'm giving it a 4.25 because at first when I finished the book, I was like, maybe it's a 4-star. But then I looked at my rating and I was like, I enjoyed this so much more than the last time I read it. Like the last time I read it, I obviously closed it and gave it a 4-star and liked it. But I think it was just kind of like, that was good. Like I didn't prioritize continuing the series. I kind of just read it almost as like someone would read like a standalone, and you just close it and you're like, that was good, moving on. You know what I'm saying? And now I think I like this better than the first time, because now all I'm thinking about is getting totally absorbed in the Zodiac Academy series and Darkmoor Penitentiary and Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac. I don't even know. There's 5,000 books in this series, and like very similar to Throne of Glass, there are multiple different versions of the order that you can chronologically read the books, or like there's a romantic version, an emotional version. I've seen 15 different recommendations of ways to read this book. There's one I'm going to follow. If you are also intimidated on what order to read the books in, message me on Instagram. My Instagram is always linked down below, and I can send you the reel from the girl on Instagram that is literally like what I would consider a guru of Zodiac Academy and everything Twisted Sisters, and I'm going to follow her reading order recommendation. So if you don't know where to start, or if you're intimidated, click below, message me on Instagram. This is gonna sound weird, but try to follow and then message me, because if you don't follow first and then send me a message, it gets filtered into this like requests folder. And sometimes I forget that thing even exists. And then all of a sudden, like after a couple of months, I'll go and check it and I have like 15 messages that I didn't answer because I honestly didn't even know they were there. So try to follow me and then message me. And if you want to unfollow me after I answer you, go for it, babe. I'm not even trying to like beg for followers. I'm just saying like unfollow me after you get your answer. But if you want to follow me, I'll probably get back to you a lot quicker, just because I'll know that your message is sitting there. But I'm giving this a 4.25. This was so good. I'm so excited to move on in the Zodiac Academy series. I'm really hoping right after this video, I'm jumping in the shower, getting everything prepped, putting all this stuff away. And I'm hoping that I have time to film my April TBR today, edit this and film that, because if I could prioritize the second book in this series, I think I might become like a Zodiac Academy binge reader. So 4.25 stars, loved it. Start it. It's great. It has everything. Stepping on a sock. I was wondering what I was stepping on. Why wouldn't I be standing on a sock while I try to film this video? Mom life. I'm literally going through my reads so that I could do a synopsis, and I don't even know where we started in this video. So you know what this means? This means I get to check another book off of our March TBR in Zodiac Academy. There you go. It still doesn't look like I read much of our TBR this month, does it? But our TBR was really big. It was pretty crazy. But I did read 6 total books off of our TBR this month. I'll take it. Not horrible. Let's go over what I read in total in this video. All right, we started off the week strong, jumping into my first Penelope Douglas when I read Credence. Okay, listen, this is taboo erotica, and you have to keep that in mind when you're reading it, okay? I have said many times on this channel, expectations are everything. Don't go into this book as a primarily YA reader and wonder why you don't like it. Okay? Don't go into this book expecting something that it's not. You go into this book doing your research, knowing full well what Penelope Douglas writes, and maybe knowing a little bit about the triggers and about the tropes in this book, or else you're not rating it fairly. I rated this 3.75 stars. I said in my Goodreads review that I was like hovering between a 3.75 and a 4. But now that I've sat on it and a little bit of time has gone by reflecting upon it, it's a 3.75. You know, I don't think I could put it on the same level of my other 4-star reads. Long story short, this was just a smutty, entertaining little time, and that's all that you should expect. 3.75 is where it belongs. Next up, I picked up my buddy read with Amanda with Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli, and I gave this a 3.5 stars. This one, I think, was kind of disappointing. After rating Heartless Hunter like a 4.5, I expected this to just grasp me the same way as Heartless Hunter did, and it honestly just didn't. I think it fell just a wee flat for me. But 3.5 is also above average. It's not that I didn't like it, but it was good. 3.5. I then jumped into book 2 of the Orleans University series by Maren Moore, Catching Feelings, and I gave this a 4-star as well. I'm genuinely enjoying my Orleans University experience. It is such a good palate cleanser between other books. It's just a spicy sports romance, but I'm a baseball lover, so reading a baseball romance has been just what I need. At the same time, I was also listening to Two Can Play by Allie Hazelwood. This is, I believe, a strictly audiobook release from her. It's quick. I think I listened in like 2.5 hours, and I gave it a 3.75. This is the equivalent of reading a little novella, okay? I have yet to read a novella that has like blown my mind. I think they're just kind of little filler books, and this is what I listened to this to, as just a filler to have something in my ears while I cleaned my house. So the fact that it was a 3.75 is pretty good. And last but certainly not least, I read or reread Zodiac Academy #1, The Awakening, and I gave this a 4.25 stars. And this is the book of the week that I think I'm the most excited about. I cannot wait to dive into my Zodiac Academy complete immersive experience and just let it consume me like I hope it really will. So bring it on, Twisted Sisters. You might have a new fan. And that's it. Another week of reading done. I can't complain. That was a pretty solid week. I didn't even count how many we read. And as usual, it hasn't been a week. It's been like 10 days. But in 10 days, I read 1, 2, 3, 4 books and listened to one little novella-sized book. So what, 4.5 books, we'll say, something like that. That's a pretty solid week. And honestly, pretty decent ratings. So if you have made it this entire way, comment the baseball or soccer emoji because we are going into full-blown baseball and soccer season over here. And for everyone who's been a follower here, you know what that means. My life is about to go from being about a 9 on the crazy scale to about a 15 on the crazy scale. Out of 10. So if you know, busy sports moms. So comment the baseball or the soccer ball to show your support. And I will do so as well. I will comment one back if you are in the same boat because my life is about to go insane as it always does during these seasons. And then do all the things that you are so professional at doing, like, comment, subscribe. I will catch you in the next one after I take a nap. Bye, guys.